you say you're really a femme guy, so you quite embrace your feminine side.
Totally. I also like still identify as non-binary.
Okay.
So I'm quite happy to take on the labels of like boy, even man, but I don't want that to be the only thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm still like outside of that.
These questions,
Yeah.
I actually think about this when I went to do the interview with you. I thought, sometimes, for me, who born as a male, how my parents see me, right? There are certain expectations.
Yeah.
That's why, oh my God, my son now want to be a woman. It's like, oh my God, how about children and this and that, and
Yeah.
expectation.
Yeah.
That's why they are much more harsher, and much more cannot accept it.
Yeah.
Do you think in your case, now you want to be a son, you actually have a bit of like, bit more
Advantage?
Yes.
I think in other people's cases that would probably be accurate, but for me, my parents really, really wanted a daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they never chose a boy's name for me because they only wanted a daughter.
And you're single.
And I'm their only
Single
child.
child.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Wow.
And also my mum has 5 brothers and she was the only daughter.
Same.
So I was the only daughter of the only daughter
Oh.
in that family, So now there's none, there's just all grandsons. Well, actually now I think my cousin, my uncle, my cousin had a daughter, so there's another one. Yeah, but it's mostly just men. So for them, they really wanted a daughter, so it was difficult in that way. It's nice to have like female role models and like strong women and stuff like that, and I can't really fulfill that.
Okay.
But I think they're okay with it now, and they try and like not put any expectations on me to be who they like saw me as. And I mean, I'm still doing music and I'm still doing art, and those are both like important things to them. Just not the daughter bit.
Okay.
My mum calls me her son or her sunshine.
Okay.
It's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, But yeah, sometimes, the parents thing is really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it take me for a very long time. Well, because I come here so young, right? So I just always doing things, making my own decisions.
Yeah.
It's the time that when I have to go back to Malaysia, I have to face them. At the short period of time, I have to convince them this and that and that and this,
Yeah.
And recently I just go back there. And me and my mom went to Taiwan.
Yeah.
And then at one point, we're making video, things like that, She said, in Chinese, she said, son, I said, Mom, don't call me son, okay? And he said, sorry. But 2000, when she come to Australia, and we go shopping, and I said, don't call me son, she just refused.
Wow. Yeah.
And that is difficult.
Totally.
Yeah. But I think time changed everything, because now I'm much older. I don't need this approval from them. So even they didn't change, right?
Yeah.
I don't take that too seriously. But it's when I'm younger,
Totally.
I find it, why don't you do that, Mom? Why you want to hurt my feeling?
Yeah. Totally. I think like in the grand scheme of things, mine are actually coming around quite quickly, but at the time it didn't feel like it. Yeah.
You're a teacher?
Yes. So I actually started hormones and my teaching job in like the same month.
Okay.
And
so you're transitioning?
Yeah. And after a while, I told my boss, and then I told my workmates, and then I told my students.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say something about you don't want to get fired. but this is the Easter egg, okay? Because I want to talk about discriminations.
Yeah.
Do you do you feel like your job have been threatened because of your transitioning?
I don't think so. I think my workplace had never had a trans person work there before, to their knowledge. So it was a bit like new and scary for everyone. Like, how is this gonna go? What are the students gonna think? How do we deal with this? What is our trans policy? But within that, they were pretty supportive.
Okay, that's very good because I asked this question as well because I have one friend who is a drag performer.
Yeah.
And they say if he also a teacher, and they say if they find out you doing drag, they can fire you.
Yeah, I think being trans is like I can just be a really lovely guy who's a teacher and happens to be trans. Like, it's not so glitter in nightclubs. But
but I think that there's still so discrimination because being a drag performer is work.
Totally. I mean, it's totally legit, and I don't think that he should be fired at all.
Yeah.
But I guess I tried to cultivate a very lovely, cheerful, non-threatening, respectable image. But also it helps that everyone I teach is above 18.
Okay. For people still there, your student.
Oh yeah.
How they're taking your transitioning?
Well, it's funny because before everyone called me Shae, and then I noticed the first one was someone came in, a new student, and I'm pretty sure he turned to a different student and said, "The teacher, he, she?" And I was like, how to begin? And then students started asking "Teacher, do you have a cold?" Because my voice was going low.
Okay.
But now I get new students all the time, and they keep passing through, so I haven't told my students in a while.
Okay.
So unless they've heard from other students, they don't know I'm trans.
Okay. What is your tip for people who are transitioning at work? Do you have any tips? I should ask the question first. Do you have any tips for people who are transitioning at work?
I think first, your work might be less freaked out if you do their homework for them. So go to Transgender Victoria, or I think there's another website, but I forget, and find an outline of a trans policy and how to support your trans employee in the workplace. And if you give them that, you can be look, this is what you do. Because a lot of them, my fear was that I would be too difficult.
Okay.
They're don't know how to deal with this.
Yes,
so if you're this is how you deal with it, it's okay. So if you present the problem, you're not a problem, but to them, the problem and the solution at the same time, then they might freak out a bit less.
Oh, that's a good advice.
Yeah.
But are you scared when you plan to come out?
I mean, I'm not sure if I will come out.
What do you mean you sure you?
I mean, so one of my students asked for my Instagram, and I was like, oh yeah, sure.
Oh no! I'm saying when you transitioning.
Before.
Yeah.
I was terrified. But
terrified of what?
I was terrified. I wasn't sure how my students would take it, and I was also a very new teacher. So one fear was that they would pick on my teaching because I'm trans, so they weren't directly discriminating. And I wasn't sure what. How did my students react when I came out?
Yeah. So how would your student react? Because we have a stop, and then now we cannot remember the questions. So how would your student react when you come out? YouTube interview, okay, everyone?
Okay, my students. Well, I was very nervous. That's fine. What was I afraid of? I think this is what you asked before.
Yeah.
I was really nervous. So I just stood up in front of my class. I just changed to a new class.
Okay.
So I was teaching elementary before,
Okay.
then I was teaching pre-intermediate. And I had a lot of old students from my old class. So there's like half I knew, half I didn't. It's like, okay, hello. Some of you know me. My name is Shae. My pronouns are he, him. I am transgender. If you have any questions about...
You said it? Transgender?
Yeah. I said, if you have any questions about that, ask me later. Please turn to page 32. End of story.
Okay.
And one of my students was like, oh, cool teacher. And the others were like, what? And then we moved on.
But now this day you don't use transgender anymore?
I identify that way.
Yeah.
I think I haven't talked about it for a while. Before, it was more of an issue because people thought I was a girl before, and then they were moving to see me as a boy, so I had like no way to hide that.
Yeah. And you feel like you need to give them an answer or something?
Totally. Like, I'd rather that if there are rumors, they come from an accurate place.
Yeah.
And from my mouth, instead of like, what's happening with the teacher? Like, yeah.
And now it's just your privacy.
Yeah. Well, it's also like not super relevant. I did say when I was going for my... Or actually, I was in the hallway one time. Another student who had already moved up, so it wasn't my student anymore, said, oh, teacher, your voice, do you have a cold? And I was like, oh, no, I'm transgender. It's because I'm on hormones.
Okay.
It's like puberty. In fact, it is puberty. I'm going through male puberty.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, I know. Great. And like was just really chill about it. And that was cool. Before I went to Sydney for my top surgery consultation, I told my class, like, I'm going to Sydney to get a consultation, yeah, for a flat chest, because I'm trans. See you in 2 weeks. Your teacher will be Mariana. Yeah, and like no one really reacted, so I don't know if they swapped over it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I used to work in Sydney Myers, and ladies' shoes. And during that time, at one point before people moved to different department, at one time, there's 4 trans women on the ladies' shoes department.
That's great.
And I always thought, people knew. Until this Vietnamese ladies, on Christmas parties, you say, I never know you trans. Until this one time you finally say, oh, I'm a trans woman, And then she realized, I said, oh, really? Where have you been? Because I'm so upfront, my voice and everything, I don't do pretend,
Yeah.
So
I think it doesn't, unless there's something to make someone think, it doesn't occur to them.
Okay.
I find cis people don't think about it that much.
Yeah, or maybe sometimes it's really not that big issue.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people who making such a, like trans people go to the bathroom in America, oh my God,
Yeah.
I mean, so that's why, maybe in my real life experience, people don't really care,
Yeah.
Because whatever I am or who I sleep with, is none of their business.
Totally, and I wish everyone was more like that. Sometimes, we get new teachers all the time, and now it's funny. Like, before I'd be like, oh, I'm Shae, also my pronouns are he, him, and they'd be like, he, him, and I was like, he, him, and like, he, him, he, him, and like, he, him, I'm like, I'm trans, I'm a boy, my pronouns are he, him. Oh, he, him! It's a bit awkward, but now I can just say, oh, I'll be telling a story to this new person and be like, oh yeah, I'm trans, so that's why I was at the doctor, and then keep going, and they're like, I had no idea. Just nice.
Yeah, I think so, because, yeah, I mean, people once make a big deal, so it's not that big deal.
Totally. I also find trans women are more prominent in the media.
Okay.
So trans men.
Is it a good thing or bad thing?
I think it's both. but like people have an idea of a trans woman, and when they think a trans person, they usually think of a trans woman, and usually like a straight binary trans woman. But trans men is like, they don't have a lot of ideas about it already. So when they meet a trans man, they're like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. But I think, because trans man is hiding. Well, I'm not saying hiding, okay?
Yeah.
Because I have this conversation before.
Yeah.
But I think it's because trans men are easily to blend in.
Yeah.
So if you already blend in,
Yeah.
why you come out to say, everyone look at me? Why you want to make your life harder? You know what I mean?
Or like, you don't have to tell people if you don't want to in that circumstance.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think also like, people look at femininity more and examine it, and like it's more criticized, and masculinity gets to be like whatever, you can have dirty pants or whatever, and or wear the same suit every day and no one really cares. So I feel like trans women are examined more and criticized more because women are as well. But men get the freedom to not be examined so much, so trans men are as well.
Totally. And it's a society bias.
Yeah.
How women being treated as well, And sometimes it's a good thing and bad thing, because sometimes as a trans woman, even though I'm a woman, but I do have that strong will.
Yeah.
And sometimes some people don't like that. A woman who have a strong will. You want to have a voice, and people are just not gonna be happy.
Totally.
The last time I went to the Genocide Day, which is like Australian Day, and next to me they got this lady from England, and she's 78 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, and we have such a good chat, and she called herself a tramp.
A tramp?
A tramp. A tramp. Lady is a tramp.
Oh, a tramp.
So
that's cute.
Because she first come to Australia when she's 22 years old.
Yeah.
So she's like, been around the block, being adventure and everything.
Yeah, I see.
And I feel like, oh my god, you're telling me this story at this place right now.
That's cute. What did she tell you? Where has she been?
Well, she come to Australia when she's 22 years old.
Yeah.
She loved this country, and that's why, she went to the Genocide Day rally as well, because she believed, we should change the date.
Totally. Or just not have it at all. Yeah, I was there last time.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so many people.
There was so many.
Because the year before, I think, is few thousand, but this year actually has lots of people.
I think
like 30,000. Is it something like that?
Something like that. I was at the one before as well, and that felt really big. I think
And it gets much bigger.
This is heavy, you're right.
It's heavy.
Oh, that's kind of better actually.
Trust me. That's how I feel when I have to feel stuff.
There we go.
Tell me what you want. If you want my future, you get my past. If you wanna get with me, better make it last. I'll go wasting my precious time. Get your act together, it could be just fine.